Hi, welcome back to Engineer Your Space. I'm Isabel. In my last episode, I showed you a lot of things that I wanted to change about my new apartment. And on the top of the list were getting rid of these vertical blinds here, which are everywhere in my apartment. Now, I came up with a really quick way to use the existing hardware to install curtains, and I also came up with a simple, inexpensive design to make a window cornice that's going to completely change the look of these windows. So let's get started. So the first window that I tackled is this one here next to my entryway. And of course, the very first thing that I did was to get rid of those slats. And it's really easy to do. You just unclip them, and I just bundle them together and store them in a closet. But that kind of left me with a very exposed window here since it gives onto the walkway. So I definitely needed something that was going to give me privacy during the day, but also let some light through, because this is kind of a dark corner of my apartment. So a simple solution to that was to hang some sheer curtains using a spring tension rod. And to install the tension rod, you simply adjust the width of the tension rod with a screwdriver so that it's about 1/2 inch wider than the window frame. Then you just push the tension rod in and back into the window frame. Now, I'm liking the look of this much better than what was there before, but I also needed to add some privacy for nighttime, so I installed some curtains, which initially I simply pushed the tab of my curtains through the existing clips, but I found that that would sometimes fall off and I would open and close the curtains. So to fix that problem, I use these drapery hooks that you simply push to the back of the tab of your curtain, and then you glide the other end through the opening of the clips. And I found that solved my problem. Now my curtain stays put when I open and close it. And to give a different look to the window, to part the curtains in the middle, I use these magnetic tiebacks that I'm actually going to show you how to make in another video. Now, I could have stopped here at the curtains, but I also wanted to change the look of the top of the window and hide that plastic cornice that's not so attractive. And to do that, I came up with an easy, inexpensive design to make a window cornice out of cardboard and furring strips. And you'll be able to download a resource guide with all the materials, tools, and supplies that you need on my website, engineeryourspace.com. And now let me show you how easy it is to make. The body of the cornice is made with cardboard wrapped around top and bottom frames made with furring strips. To make the frame, cut your furring strips with a miter box and saw so that you have 2 front pieces and 4 side pieces. They should be long enough to make your cornice 1 inch wider than the existing one. And here's a tip when you're buying furring strips. Because they're inexpensive lumber, they're not always perfect. So make sure you check yours by placing them on the floor on all sides. If they don't have a curve, you're good to go. Join the corners of the top and bottom frames using a corner clamp. It just makes it easier to drill the pilot holes to prevent splitting and then to screw the pieces together. You can also use a bracket to join furring strips together for really long valances. Next, cut the cardboard that will be the body of the cornice. Now, typically this is made of wood, but using cardboard makes it much lighter. I cut my cardboard 11 inches high and long enough to wrap around the frame. You can also join smaller pieces of cardboard together if you don't have one piece that's long enough. Using a straight edge, bend the ends of the cardboard to the depth of the cornice. Then add some glue to the outside of the frames and place at the edge of the cardboard, holding it in place with clamps until the glue dries. Then staple the cardboard to the frames for added strength. I upholstered my cornice using batting and burlap fabric. The batting should be about 2 inches wider than the valance and the fabric 4 inches wider so that there's enough material to cover both the top and the bottom frames. Use spray adhesive to secure the batting to the cardboard, and it's okay to join smaller pieces of batting together if you have to. Starting at one end, staple the fabric to the frame, always tightening and smoothing out the fabric as you alternate stapling from one side to the other as you move along the length of the cornice. Cut the excess fabric and then, using a peel and stick tape or fabric glue, put on a ribbon to hide the staples. Then you'll want to remove the excess fabric at both ends of the top frame to install corner brackets that will be used for hanging. To make it easier to install my cornice, I glued scrap pieces of furring strips to the middle of the inside of the cornice and added screws. This way my cornice can rest on the existing plastic cornice while I check that everything is straight. If it's not, I just take down the cornice and adjust the screws as needed. I found that the screws I added to the cornice for the installation process actually hold the cornice in place quite nicely.
But to take some of the weight off of the existing plastic cornice, I secured mine to the wall using 3M command strips instead of screws because my cornice is so light. I love how this all came together, and I'm so happy I don't have to look at those vertical blinds anymore. Well, that's it for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos, and also visit my website, engineeryourspace.com, for more DIY ideas and tips. See you next time.